Centers anytime. They treated me great. And every time I go in there, they treat you like your old friends.
You miss a lot when you don't have the hearing aids. You miss the little things.
When I'd have my blinker on in my car, you'd forget sometime to turn it off. Well, I could hear it now.
I can hear rain. I can hear children down the street. I can hear the ice cream truck. I never heard the ice cream truck before. Little things like that would be stupid to other people, but to me, and maybe to somebody else that hasn't heard that, it would change their life.
I would recommend this new ear digital hearing aid for anybody.
Hi, I'm Carol Dixon, and we're here at Southwestern Hearing Centers in St. Charles. In a moment, we'll talk with President and owner Mike Marino about Southwestern Hearing Centers and the advancement and affordability of the modern new ear digital hearing instrument. Well, I bet you didn't know that nearly 55% of all Americans over the age of 45 suffer from hearing loss. So how do you know when it's time to get your hearing checked or get a better hearing instrument? Well, let's hear what Whitey Herzog had to say about that.
I had two previous sets of hearing aids, and once Southwestern fitted me and they were so much better, it was almost like I heard things I hadn't heard in years. My directional lights on automobiles, paper crackling. I never heard any of that stuff. In fact, one day I'm driving my car and I thought there was a time bomb in the trunk. I got out and I looked all through the trunk. I couldn't figure out what that clicking was, and it was the directional lights.
Thanks, Whitey. What a great story. Well, maybe it's you who can't quite hear like you used to, or maybe you have a spouse or a loved one who may be losing their hearing. And here's the good news. Southwestern Hearing Centers is offering free hearing exams, no strings attached. Just take it from Whitey.
Well, it isn't going to cost you anything to get a free hearing exam. Why don't you call over there and set up an exam? Because if they can't help you, they're going to be very honest about it.
One of the things that really impressed me with Southwestern is their honesty. The fact that they didn't try to jam something down my throat in the form of a hearing aid. They told me exactly as it was. When I sent friends in there, they sent a couple of the friends back home and told them not to bother.
Well, there you have it. If you or a loved one is losing your hearing, get a hearing instrument. It's easy, inexpensive, and you don't have to wear one of those big, bulky hearing instruments anymore. All you need is this, the new ear digital hearing instrument. You can hardly see it, much less feel it. But oh, does it work?
Well, the one thing that I like is they're very small. They leave this little thing on there and you just pull it, like pulling a fish out of the water.
I've been wearing them for years. Nobody even knows I've got them.
And here's the man who can tell you all about it, Mike Marino, president and owner of Southwestern Hearing Centers, the largest group of hearing providers in the St. Louis area, or the Midwest for that matter. Mike, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, I'm good, thank you.
Thanks.
Well, Mike, first of all, tell us a little bit about Southwestern Hearing Centers and how you got started.
Southwestern Hearing Aid Centers was started back in 1947. My father started this company, and I followed in his footsteps about 1967. Actually, I was a little boy when I started working with him. He used to drag me along, but I pretty much grew up in the business. And I've been fitting and dispensing hearing aids now for about 30-some-odd years. They're staffed with board-certified hearing specialists and clinical audiologists both, so most of them are pretty well experienced. I think the least experience we have in our operation is about 10 years, so some of the people have as much as 30 years experience, including myself. But we work well with our patients, and when they call for an appointment, we usually come in, and the first thing we do is question them as to health problems. If they have any health problems, then we refer them to a physician. If not, and we take it from there, we usually do a videotostophy, which is looking in their ear, examining it for wax or anything else like that. Then we go ahead and proceed with the test. We don't charge for the test, because we need to find out whether or not there's a need for a particular hearing instrument with the person. So after we do that, then we find out what kind of living situation, what kind of dexterity a person would have. Some people don't need a lot of expensive equipment. Some people would prefer more expensive equipment, depending on the needs. We can have anything from a businessman, an attorney, to a child 3 or 4 years old, to an elderly person who's in a nursing home and doesn't do a lot of moving around. So the situation changes according to the person.
Well, I know you've gotten a lot of accolades and a lot of, say, awards for your accomplishments in the business. Tell us a little bit about those.
Well, some of the things that I try to do with patients along with working and fitting hearing aids is try to develop new product. I'm not an engineer, but I do work with the engineers at the New Ear Laboratories out of San Diego, California. And some of the products that we've developed in the last 2 or 3 years with the National Football League, for example, that are now available to the public, and we're pretty excited about them.
Mike, tell us about the new ear digital hearing instrument and why Whitey and others we'll hear from later are just raving about this little thing.
Well, new ear digital hearing instruments are probably the finest, if not the finest, hearing instruments in the world. Compared to most other hearing aids, there's really not much of a comparison. A lot of the patients that I've had, including Whitey, have had other hearing aids in the past, and we're not totally happy with them. When they came to us, we were able to upgrade them, and we're still working on it to this day. The technology is just amazing. If their hearing situation changes, they can come into our office anytime, usually with an appointment, and we're able to change it and program it according to the situation so they don't need to be making these investments over and over again. We don't charge for these type of adjustments, but it's something that we can stay with continuously because their hearing changes continuously.
Are they expensive?
No, not at all. Newer digital products start as low as $795. And there's all different types of product. The digital hearing aid may not be the best hearing aid for certain people's needs. If they're not, we have other products that are less expensive. We have hearing aids that are more expensive. It just really depends on your needs and what we have to do to take care of you. You can't really put a price on your hearing.
Well, Mike, besides Whitey, here's what a couple of your other patients had to say about Southwestern Hearing Centers and the amazing new ear digital hearing system.
I'm familiar with digital from my cell phone and a lot of other items, but the digital hearing aid, well, that was just like going to black and white movies to colored movies. So now I got the digital, and I don't know what could possibly be next. You
can't put a price on it. You mean on hearing? I don't know. That's like eyeglasses. Good. Thank God for people that invented eyeglasses. Where would you and I be today? Think about that. Same way with people in hearing aids. Where would they be?
I would definitely recommend Southwest Hearing for anyone who needs to have a hearing test or is considering getting a new hearing aid. They helped me tremendously, and I know they could help anyone else.
What I'm looking for is to be able to talk and smile without the squealing. And she told me these would do it, and I told her I didn't want to have my hopes, shattered, so I was going to be cynical from the get-go. It was fantastic. I wanted to cry. I mean, I could smile, and I couldn't do that before. To be able to smile, by far, is the most fantastic thing for me.
When my children were little, we had baby monitors, and I wouldn't hear them when they cried. And he'd say, "Can't you hear that?" And I'd say, "No." And friends used to make fun of me. I'd say, "Let me know if you hear the phone ring." And I'd say, "You can't hear the phone ring?" And I'd say, "No." And they still do that. When they see me now, they say, "Oh, Tam, phone's ringing, phone's ringing." So just little things like that, and I just got tired of it.
I can't imagine what life would be like without them, and it's not a life that I really want to live. Now that I have them, I don't ever want to be without them.
There is no real disadvantage to having a hearing aid. People don't look down on you. They don't even know you've got it. Number two, you can hear. Number three, you can hear better. Number four, you can hear real loud. And number five, life is back to normal. So if you want to have a normal life, get a hearing aid. You don't, go ahead and stumble in the dark, because that's what you're going to be doing forever and a day.
I think my granddaughter, one night, I couldn't hear something she said, and she told me, she said, "Papa," she said, "you better get your ears fixed." When she said that, that kind of hit me a little bit, and I'd already had hearing aids, and I knew I wasn't hearing good with them. I was still saying ha, and they weren't working right. And when she said that, that kind of struck me. And then after someone called me and told me to go to Southwestern and see Mike Marino and so forth, it was like a change in my life, because all of a sudden my hearing got really, really good, so much better than it's been. I didn't realize that I was as far deaf as I was, and to get that hearing back for me is quite I think it's kind of, I don't know what I really want to call it, a miracle, because I didn't think I'd be hearing this good again.
Well, Mike, those sure were some fantastic comments. Why don't you sum things up for us?
Well, I just want everybody to know we're here every day, Monday through Friday, and that we'd enjoy having people come in and talk to us and see if we can help them. We'll be happy to check their insurance, and even financially, if they have a problem with it, we'll help make payment arrangements. We'd love for them to come in and see us and see if we can help them out.
And you have free exams?
Yes, ma'am. The exam is free, and we guarantee everything we do.
Mike, thanks so much. Folks, it's that easy. Call the #1 hearing care provider in the St. Louis area today at 1-800-NEW-HEAR and set up your free hearing exam at one of the locations nearest you. Southwestern Hearing Centers. Bring back your hearing, bring back your life.